Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel. Welcome to Off the Board, which is a monthly series hosted by Crystal over at Pineapple Papers. The inspiration I chose today was a color palette. I'm also kind of playing along with Series 20 of 30 Days of Sketches using this sketch from Vicky over at Memories and Moments Scrapbooking. And I've already used this sketch once, but I am using it a second time because I was really inspired to go ahead and use a couple of different things. So I'm going to be using some stencils from Scrapping Reflections, which is Sandy's website over Sandy at State Goddess, but her website is scrappingreflections.com. I'm using her circle stencil as well as one of her mandala stencils. And then I'm also going to be using the monthly subscription for the stitching templates from MK over at Some Assemblage Required. Now the monthly subscription thing is not open currently, but it will be open in, I'm going to say October-November timeframe. So if you're interested in getting some small stitching templates that have different designs, that's where you would want to go and sign up for that in October-November timeframe. So that's where my stitching templates came from. When you see them, that's where they're from. But I also have the stitching starter guide, which comes with two rulers that have a bunch of different stitching guides on them that are more like straight lines, or not really straight lines, but like borders rather than actual images. So, and then it also comes with a needle minder and a mouse pad for you to receive the sharp end of the pokey tool to create the stitches, the holes in your paper. Hopefully that made sense. Oh my goodness. I did pull out some oxide inks. I am using Bundled Sage and I am layering these two up. Excuse me. So I'm going to be doing this for both the top and the bottom, as well as the left and the right sides. The left and the right are only going to be small sections, but the top and the bottom are going to be larger sections. And I'm just going tone on tone because I don't want it really in your face. I want it really kind of light and airy and just the pattern peeking through. And I think it's going to come out really, really good. And so I'm just playing around with that. And I was inspired to try doing this in the big circles that Vicky had on the layout or the sketch that she provided for 30 Days of Sketches. So more about that series, you can, it happens April, June, and October. You can find the sketches over at the 30 Days of Sketches Facebook group. They're usually released, I don't know, maybe like a week before or something to that effect. If you're interested in playing along, all of the sketches are released for March, so you can go and check out that and play along if you're interested. You can also check out the playlist down below, where you will find inspiration using all of the sketches for the month so far. This sketch that I'm using today was from day 15, and I didn't intentionally skip today's sketch, but I did this a little earlier in the month and did not have it finished, so I couldn't release it on the 15th. So here we are. I am also using some blending tools. These are just the kind of the inexpensive ones off of Amazon. If you're interested in those, I'll put a link down below. I find that these ones work great for a large coverage area, and they are also great if you have like arthritis or something like that. They're a lot easier to hold on to than some of the smaller blending brushes. I do believe my Bundled Sage needs to be re-inked because it's yeah, I'm having to really work at picking up ink off of my ink pad, but I haven't had time to check to see if I even have that re-inker. I have a bunch of them, but I don't know which ones I actually have, so I need to go and check. But I think it's coming out really, really nice so far, and I'm excited to see how it ends up finishing out. I did not really measure where the stencils are going. I kind of eyeballed it in the center of the top, or well, right now it's the left and the right side of the pages, but those are going to be the top and the bottom. So I'm just kind of trying to center it along the edge of the paper and work with it from there. I am also using my magnets from my my glassboard magnets because the surface that I'm working on is from Glassboard Studio and it is magnetic. I am having trouble with words today, you guys. I think I have a little cold, so my voice is a little different, and it's very hard to talk. Okay, so I am now going through my scrap bin of all of my cool colors, and I'm pulling out some scraps that I think would work really well behind these 3 photos. My 3 photos are 3x4, and they are of MK and myself at the retreat that she hosted in Wyoming in November. And we were doing a YouTube live with the Scrapbooking Fun Summit, and we did it live from the craft room at the Wyoming retreat, which was tons of fun. So if you're interested in retreating with us, we do actually have another retreat in Wyoming in July. I believe it's the 9th through the 14th, 9th through, oh, let's see if I could get to July in my calendar. I could actually tell you that. Yeah, it's going to be, oh, yeah, the 9th through the 14th in Wyoming. But if you look up flights into Wyoming, they're super expensive. It's much cheaper to go into Denver. And then they do have a shuttle that runs up there, which could save some money. You could also Uber up there. You could also ride share with somebody else who is flying in at a similar time, and maybe rent a car together and share the cost in that. So there are tons of ways to save a little bit of money, but it's a ton of fun. It's in a really old house that was built in the 1880s, and it has been redone, but the owner has tried to keep it as close to historically accurate as possible in most areas. I'm not going to say all areas. The craft room is definitely not historically accurate, and neither is the kitchen. But the rest of the house, you know, in the decor and such, she tried to keep it pretty accurate. It's really cool. It does have stairs, so if that's something that would not work out for you, that would not be an option. But yeah, it's really cool. So she actually even gave us a tour of the house last time, and the owner will be there this time because she is catering it for us. And so you might even be able to get a tour this time. We will have to see about that. I'm not committing her, but I bet she would probably give us a tour. Anyway, this retreat place has only been open just about a year, and so it's really nice and really it's just different. So I highly recommend it. I will put a link down below to the retreat listing on MK's website as well, in case you're interested in that. So here are the stitching templates that I'm using. I'm using this flower, and I am using the leaves. I believe these are from the March, the March box. Yeah, they're from the March box. And I went ahead and I poked, I want to say 6 of each, but I don't use all 6 of each. I'm just using the flowers and the leaves, and I'm not going to make you sit through watching me do all of them, and I don't make you sit through watching me stitch them because I kind of do that off camera. It's really, stitching it takes a little effort to do it right underneath the camera without having to reposition everything. So also I did a bunch of this while I was not at home, so therefore I could work on it and not actually be able to film. But I am just fussy cutting around the stitch areas. The white paper that I'm using is just the photo mats from Hobby Lobby, the 4.5 by 6.5 inch photo mats. So I'm liking how that's looking. I think it's coming together really nicely. And then I did ink up my papers, obviously, with a little bit of green, and I believe I used just more of that same green ink, and then I used a little bit of yellow, and I used it's called Chiffon from Catherine Pooler, and that's just because that's the yellow I had on hand. You easily could have used some squeezed lemonade or, I don't know, the mustard seed from Ranger from the Distress inks. You could, it's, you know, there's a lot of options in there. I do have this die that's a really old die. It's from Tonic Studios, and it's got all of these, it's a vine basically. And rather than tucking in a bunch of leaves from different dies, I decided I was just going to go ahead and die cut a big section of vine, and I'm going to tuck that under to give it a little bit more greenery and layers. And that really kind of filled out my clusters of leaves and flowers, and I really like how that looks. And it also made it a lot easier and a little quicker than having to die cut onesie twosie dies, because this die set, the vines have a lot of leaves on them, so it just makes it really easy. A lot of it does not show because the flowers and the larger stitch leaves kind of take over, but that's okay. That was kind of intentionally done that way, but I didn't want them to look like they were just floating in midair, so that vine really did help to kind of give them a landing spot. So I'm liking how that's looking. I also just used some liquid glue to adhere all of my pieces down and let them set up with my acrylic block right on top of them to kind of make sure that they were making contact with the papers, and I'm really liking how that looked. Adding the flowers with the stitching does add a little bit of dimension because the stitching does take a little bit of room on the back and the front of the pieces, but that's okay. I don't mind dimension on my layout. I'm also going to be using the wood veneer that's off to the right hand side that says "Wake Up and Be Awesome," because and that's I think from the January release over at Some Assemblage Required, so I'll link that up below for you also. But I felt like that was a great little title piece because we knew we were doing this little YouTube live, and we weren't really sure how that was going to go, but mostly for the fact that we're in an unknown place, and not unknown place, but a place that we don't normally stream from. We weren't sure about the internet and all of that kind of good stuff, but we knew that we were hanging out together. It would be fun, and that was really just, we're going to wake up and we're going to be awesome because we're together and we're having fun. So that's what this is all about. Just being able to team up and work on something together, which if you follow either one of us, you probably know that already because we do most things together, and we absolutely love it, and we really just build on each other's creativity, even though we are completely different in our styles and the way that we do things. Not necessarily even just the style, but the process of getting to the end, it looks very different for both of us. But somehow it always comes together and works out really well. So I'm liking how this is coming together. I feel like it's going to be a really nice layout, and it's a lot of fun. I also did think I could probably put this up for Stitches and Stencils because it's got both on it, but I then also remembered that next month is Kit Conspiracy. So these papers are not related to my kit, and I thought, well, shoot, I'll just put it up early then and do a different layout for Stitches and Stencils. So you're going to get to see stitching and stenciling a little bit more, an extra time. So I'm liking how this is coming together. I'm just going to add a couple of labels so I can do a little bit of writing down what this layout was all about. I'm not going to do anything super fancy. I'm just going to tuck my labels into my clusters here. And so it's just going to keep the movement of your eye going straight down the page. And I really like how that's looking. I did try to get 3 labels in there, but I end up with only 2. And I think that's fine. And then right at the very end, I think I don't even know that I got it on camera, but maybe it's in the stills. I add one tiny little wood veneer heart to that upper cluster just above the label, on to the right above the label, just to bring in a little wood texture and wood color up there, since I've got the wood veneer title on the page. And that is it, you guys. I hope that you enjoyed this one. If you did, hit the thumbs up button. Don't forget to go and check out everyone playing along with Off the Board, which I totally forgot to tell you is a monthly hop. using Pinterest pins. I think I mentioned the monthly part at the beginning and that it's hosted by Crystal at Pineapple Papers, but we use Pinterest pins for inspiration. So I got my inspiration for the colors for this one from my Pinterest board. That's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys again real soon. Bye-bye.